Welcome back, everyone. In this video, our goals are to add a simple day-night cycle to our map. The reason for this is because it's necessary to show off some of our foliage instance settings in the next video. We kind of need a moving mobile light to do so. And also because creating a day-night cycle is just plain cool. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Firstly, let's make sure that you have a BP, that is a blueprint sky sphere in your level, as well as a directional light actor. Now, if you have followed along with me up to this point, when we created our landscape base level here, we did this by coming under File, New Level, and we did this using a default level. If you did that, you should have a BP sky sphere and a directional light actor already existing. You'll know if you do by coming under your World Outliner. You can search for these actors. So if you come under your World Outliner tab, and if you don't see this tab, you can find it under Window, World Outliner. Make sure you got that checked on, and simply do a search for Sky. And there is my actor that I'm looking for, my sky sphere actor, my BP sky sphere. If you cannot find this, you do not see this cloud and blue sky out here, you can find it in your engine content folders in your content browser. And if you don't see this folder, you can come under your view options right down here, check on your show engine content option here, and then with engine content folder selected, do a search for Sky, and this is where you can find your BP sky sphere. You only need one out here. And if you don't have it out here, you can simply left click and drag and drop it out here in your level so you see those clouds and that blue sky. So make sure you've got a BP sky sphere out there. Number two is we need to make sure that we have a directional light source actor out there. And I'm just going to type in directional. There is my directional light actor. It is called light source. Here it is in my level. If you don't have one of these, you can come under your modes panel, lights tab, and there is a directional light actor. Now, this is the actor that replicates the sunlight in your level. And in fact, it works in tandem with your BP sky sphere. Something you may notice right now, if you're very astute, is here's my directional light actor, and there's this little white arrow kind of hanging off of this. This is showing the direction of the sun. If you notice my sun out here in the background, that is basically the exact angle at which the sun is coming from. Now, this is not a mistake here. That's because this directional light actor is actually tied to my BP sky sphere. What do I mean by that? Well, if I click on my sky back here, go ahead and do that. So your BP sky sphere. Now down on my details panel, I have all the details related to my sky sphere. And one thing that we need to associate with our sky sphere is a directional light actor. So right here under your details panel, you can click this little drop down box to find your light source, this directional light actor, or if you've got multiple directional light source actors in your level, you can click this little eyedropper icon right here and select your directional light source actor here to associate this light actor with your sky sphere. Now note something here. Through some scripting that we're going to do, we're going to actually rotate this directional light actor. And as we do that, it's actually going to change the position of the sun in our sky sphere. So let's set up this script that we need to make this day-night cycle. For starters, let's make sure that we've got our directional light source actor selected here. And with that selected, and it's important we have it selected here, let's jump into our level blueprint. We can access our level blueprint by coming under our blueprints button right up here, clicking on that, and then about midway down, we've got the option to open level blueprint. So let's go ahead and do that. And you should see a couple of nodes out here by default, one called event tick and one event begin play. I deleted those ahead of time so I could add them from scratch just to show you how to do that in case you didn't already know. So I'm going to right click out here and type in event tick. We're going to need this event node. This is an event that fires off every frame. Next, let's right click, and because we've got our light source actor selected in our level, we see this option to create a reference to our light source. Now note, you will not see this unless you have this directional light actor selected in your level. So that's how we can get a reference to this. That is, so we can talk to it and do some things to it. Okay, so make sure you've got those two things in place. Next thing we need in place here is a variable. We need a variable to control the speed of our sun. So right over here in my Blueprints tab, we're going to come under variables, click this plus variable button, and we're going to create a new variable called sun speed. Now again, this whole course is not really dealing too much with how to create some script. I've got other courses available for that. This one's going to assume you know a little bit of scripting. And if not, you can just kind of plow on through this, just follow along, and just assume that you can pick up some scripting at some other point in time. All right, we're going to come under variable type right here. We're going to change the type of variable here to be float. Now, float variable is nothing more than a number with a decimal point. We need to give this a default value, but first we must compile by clicking on this button up here. And I'm going to set our sun speed to be 50, which in truth is going to be very rapid. But you can change this value as you see fit later on. Okay, so we've got all that in place. Now, what we want to do is, out of our event tick here, we can drag out of this and get our delta seconds. Delta seconds is the time between frames. So if our game is running at, say, 120 frames per second, a delta second or a millisecond is going to be 0.0083 seconds. That number times 120 equals 1 second. So I'm going to drag out of this and type in the word float, and I'm looking for a float times float node here. I'm going to multiply our delta seconds by our sun speed by left-clicking, dragging, and dropping this right on top of this pin. And what I am going to do out of this is drag out of this output of this math and type in make rotator. And by default, it's going to have this plugged into our very first input pin here. I don't want it plugged into the roll, so I'm going to hold down the Alt key and left click, and I'm going to re-drag this into the pitch. This is going to adjust the pitch of our light source. That's what we're looking for, not the roll. Okay, next, let's drag out of our light source actor here. And it's important that we drag out of our light source actor here to find this next context-sensitive function node. So drag a wire out of this and then type in add actor, if I can spell right, add actor local rotation, not world rotation, add actor local rotation. Now, something that confuses a lot of students is if you just right-click in here and type in add actor local rotation, sometimes you will find these nodes and sometimes you won't. In this case, I wanted to drag a wire out of my light source because I want this to be associated immediately with my light source actor here, because that is the actor whose rotation I want to change locally. Okay, next I'm going to drag out of my execution output of my event tick, plug it into my add actor local rotation, and of course I need to plug in a delta rotation. That is a change in rotation. Well, we want to change this based on this math. We're going to change the pitch, the Y rotation of our light source based on this math. Last but not least here, what I want to do is I'm going to scroll over, is I want to talk to my sky sphere actor. So I'm going to jump out of here quickly. I'm going to select my sky. There, I've got it selected in the background. You can see I've got it selected because here in the details panel I can see it. Now I'm going to jump back into my level blueprint, and now I can right click and create a reference to my sky sphere. So I'm going to click on that to create a reference to my sky sphere so we can talk to it. And now I'm going to drag out of this and type in update sun direction. There's a function that lives inside of this blueprint that's called update sun direction. Now, how did I even know about this? Well, back here in my content browser, if you double click on your BP SkySphere, which I have already done because I've got a tab up here, there is a function within this blueprint called update sun direction. I did not create this, the fine folks at Epic Games did, but here is this function that we are calling. Obviously, it's a lot of nodes, and I'm not going to go through it all here, but what I'm essentially doing back here in my level blueprint is I'm wanting to update the sun direction. That's what's going to move our sun in the sky as we do this script. Okay, so there is your script in full here. Let me try to frame it up here so you can copy it, pause the video if you need to in order to see everything. Again, my sun speed here is currently set to 50. Let's compile this to make sure that there are no errors in our script. Everything looks good, and let's go ahead and save. And now there's just one thing left to do, and that's to play, and let's see if we got a day-night cycle going on. Some click and play here, and I don't see anything yet, and I think I know what my error is here. Gonna hit escape. Yes, that is indeed my error. As you can see, once I escaped out of here, I got a lot of errors, and that is because, as my message here tells me so, I did not set my light source to be movable. My bad. So I gotta come back here into my editor. I got to select my directional light source here, and here's a problem. It's telling me I need to change the mobility of this light source actor, our directional light source, to be movable. Otherwise, the scripting can't move that. So let's save our current level here. That's going to save our level blueprint. Let's jump in and play again. And now you can see a very rapid day-night cycle taking place. And man, let's see if I can find the sun out here, huh? It's whipping around somewhere. You know what? I do want to see if there it is, off in the sky. You know what? I'm going to escape out of here, and I'm going to go into simulate mode. In simulate mode, I'm not actually controlling a character, but all my script should be running here. So if I right-click here to activate my editor window here, hold down the Alt key, and then the S key, S is in simulate, I can simulate this. Now I can kind of fly around my level while I'm simulating here, and I can see that sun very rapidly whipping around my level. There's a very rapid day-night cycle. All right, I'm going to stop this by clicking up here, and you can see this is in simulate mode. I'm going to check this back into new editor window. Now again, that day-night cycle is ridiculously fast. So if you want to slow that down, you can come back here and change your sun speed value for that variable. Now I want this to be relatively fast again for our next video. So we are in good position to go to our next video, which is on foliage type, the instance settings. Guys, that'll do it all for this one. We will see you in the next one.